The world is longing and crying out for change. And what do you do about it as a neurodiverse creative? This is my first Varticle, a video article. You heard that word first here. Firstly, how do I know the world is crying out for change? Well, when I'm out and about, I so often see the worry, concern, and even suffering on many faces as they stare into their phone screens and walk about on the streets. I also hear the negative talk, phrases, and quite frankly, degrading language that people used that's programmed over time to describe themselves, others, and the situations they are in. This type of communication and language comes from a victimized state that isn't actually true, and it gives rise to a lack of responsibility in action to make the change the person actually wants in their life. It is a simple story of confusion that's playing out on autopilot. I also see an absence of public information that specifically details and directs people towards knowing about positive change and functional growth. Whereas institutions and mainstream media consistently output whatever seems most interesting and most concerning without equally representing the important positive aspects in current scientific findings and essential life skills, making it hard to see that it can actually be possible to understand how to work with life's challenges in a simple and stable state of ease and flow. As someone who discovered they were dyslexic when they were 33, I didn't realise how much I was struggling with the fear of rejection for all that time. I felt misunderstood and rejected from society due to my school exam results, and I was unknowingly keeping all those beliefs there, not feeling like I knew how to communicate my ideas and process my emotions well. So I continued to not show up properly until I was coached. Secondly, the traditional quote comes to mind: pain is inevitable, yet suffering is optional. And I would say that it's our habituated processes, programs, and beliefs about suffering that will often keep the pain going in a loop and reinforcing it, subdiverting our true choices and actions and happiness in the process. The same concept can be applied to the challenges and difficulties that come up in our lives. It's our perception of what's going on that dictates our level of engagement with the feelings of overwhelm and distress, which can then also become a belief system and loop around any specific challenge in mind as difficult and hard to deal with. I feel an important question to keep being mindful of is this pain or the feeling of overwhelm that I feel good or bad? When I am in a mindful state, good or bad cannot and doesn't exist. I can then come to the conclusion that these sensations are actually very useful responses and alarm systems in order to help protect and deal with any perceived danger. One thing that can be said is that we are not born into understanding what pain or suffering or dealing with challenges is all about. It's something that we experience for ourselves, hopefully just on a basic level, and we build our own reference points to start learning from. Only then can we actually understand how to start being aware and manage those protective mechanisms well. Alongside all of this internal processing, it's also to do with the amount of external quality awareness creating information and expert guidance that can really help us to reorganize our reactions and responses going forwards once we have those initial reference points laid down. So it could be also said that experiencing suffering on a basic level is inevitable as part of our human learning process. Yet the severity and duration of that suffering attached is optional. And I quite like to say that it's also trainable in self-command that separates the pain from the suffering. Depending on the amount of exposure to the suffering and the combination of the amount of self-awareness, general knowledge, stress resilience skills, recovery time, reflection time, and expert knowledge we are exposed to, we can adapt and work on our mental wealth and fitness. I do believe that trying to fight the suffering head on at the same level of awareness as the emotions caused by the suffering slowly depletes our time, effort, and energy reserves. However, with mental fitness training and coaching, we can learn to flip our emotional reactivity on its head, turn it around, and use the triggering of the suffering as the alarm signal to notice, learn, resolve, and grow from. As with any skill, it can become a much simpler process with repetition and perseverance. How quickly this can be learned is down to the level of perception, awareness, guidance, and participation that we are willing to have go on. So I see we are now at a point in time where the human mind is evolving past the basic structural plane and problem-solving paradigm. We get to reconnect to each other with unconditional sensations, empathy, curiosity, and ultimately navigating ourselves in love and trust. Appreciating that each individual has a unique learning ability and their own way of contributing to the world, being given that time and space and resources that they require for them to express this ability. We get to reconnect functionality to the known structures and to our own true nature and individual purpose, allowing the development of reciprocal, non-judgmental, energetic partnerships, both personally and professionally. An equal balance of power and submission, of assertion and listening characteristics, being intelligental, bringing forward the innate, inherent processes of creativity and art back to connection, communication, community, and leadership with the compassion and courage to consistently act out our highest values, intentions, and vision. This vision is what makes my life worth living, knowing that this is actually possible. Especially in this age of enhanced and advanced technological creativity and the possibilities in collaboration. So if you're really resonating with all of this and you really want this vision to also occur, what can you personally do about it? As neurodiverse, it's certainly very key to consistently practice becoming self-aware and connecting to the heart brain and its truest, highest values. Noticing the patterns of emotion and thought that generates overthinking, hiding, scattering behavior, pleasure seeking, and fighting to fit in, and replacing it with enough self-kindness to really feel and thrive from moment to moment. Yet there is more to it than just simply changing the mental focus towards these ideals and desires. It's also about making it simple and easy to get into your flow state and then take the regular, courageous, committed, excited actions alongside a clearly designed intention and vision for yourself and the world progress in mind. This is where daily, heart-fueled leadership training and practices also come into use and play. The art form of conscious creativity within decision-making and what I call wiction, that is wisdom in action. I think the combination of self-care, mental fitness, and genius creator theories and practices are so useful. It is a specific habitual meditative practice, processing the heart and the gut and the head-brain alignment, which I love to teach. A routine practice developed to recognize feelings, refocus and accept situations, and choose the true vision and converting reality using the true authentic powers within to allow springboarding from the automated victim and suffering perspective and belief systems to access clear-headed, excited focus and productivity. Within mindfulness practices, such as drawing and painting, led from the gut and heart, there can be no active victim state and problem creation. Within immersive playing or listening to music, there can be no victim state and problem creation. When accessing your unique learning ability and stepping into your wiction, there can be no active victim state and problem creation. It is only those same old belief systems and patterns kicking in that cause the unhelpful habits, and then they play out. It's all about knowing that you matter on a moment-to-moment basis. The desired change that you want in the world is then called out, displayed in your actions, and responded to naturally, and it's essentially requires and relies on no one but you to flex those mental muscles. You are creating and maintaining your reality with every thought and feeling that you have. This goes for everything that's going on day to day, including the things you feel you don't have control over. You still have a choice in how you react and interact with things going around you and going forwards. So if you were truly honest with yourself, take a look and see, are you repeatedly creating negative change or positive change in your life? Or are you keeping things the same in what you're thinking and doing on a daily basis? Bear in mind that developing these skills of becoming aware, changing mental habits, and taking those desired actions can take some initial intensive support and guidance. And coaching is designed to help people get there faster. It's really great to recognize where you require help. And it's even more phenomenal when you seek, ask, and get that help too. So if you know you are wanting change, what is it costing you to prolong things as they are? All the extra time, effort, and focus on trying to build areas of expertise you aren't familiar to or easy to develop on your own can be so exhausting. Soldiering on is simply the victim state, wanting to continue to remain comfortable with the suffering because that's what it's used to doing and repeating. So how do I help and bring the change I want to in the world? My mission is to help 100 million neurodiverse creative beings celebrate their potential and share their unique gifts and talents with the world to grow awareness, positive impact, and inclusion by 2033. I see and believe that the world needs amazingly intelligent and sensitive neurodiverse people to step up, contribute their ideas, ways of thinking, and work on getting the results they truly want to create in their lives, like I've learned to, so as to make it a much more balanced and healthy, inclusive world to live in. Through sustainable models and processes, starting with applying all of this to myself as well, I work with lymphatic health exercise, my functional exercise, physical exercise approach to body work and breath work, my unique learning ability, my functional thinking approach with mental fitness training and creativity exercises, my holistic health hygiene, which is my functional holistic lifestyle approach and techniques for building and developing healthy habits, my multiple brain integration techniques, which is my functional somatic coaching approach to exploring neurodiverse processes and redirecting the intuitive pathways to inspire emotional freedom, and my Level Up Your Life for Neurodiverse Creative Beings course, an introductory program to all of these ideas and approaches, and it's as it simply relates to leading yourself from the heart and generating the use of healthy language and communication and actions. Within these processes moving forwards, I initially get to mentor and coach amazing individuals and teach groups of fantastic people who are committed to working towards their own vision, yet share the same overarching vision as me that I get to bring to the table too. So many are simply not performing at their best because of feeling the resentment, frustration, and fear of speaking their truth. With all that overthinking, scatteredness, procrastination, emotional masking, and fighting to fit in, it stunts all of the creativity, recognition, reliability, focus, and confidence for them to move forwards. It's simply shameful to allow this to carry on in the world. Imagine what's possible if the neurodiverse artists of the world, in which we can all access, had a self-appointed voice and role to play in team-based collaborative decision-making in companies and communities. So what makes my course unique? It encompasses insights, techniques, and skills that focus on your essential mind and body connections, whilst also bringing forwards your own tailored, highly defined goals to help motivate you shift and align and work with your healthy habits, true desires, self-talk, and external communication, so as to progress yourself and the world simultaneously. And with the mentorship and coaching, using simple, actionable tools and tasks. A wide-ranging selection of techniques to choose from to personalize and optimize your day-to-day functioning and routine by. If all this sounds good, give me a fun sticker in the comments below and I'll send you more info. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for your time and well done for getting through all of this, because there was a lot of information there to go through. All the best, have a great day and much love.